And nowadays, it's so stupid, man. Some people work hard for a burger, but they won't work hard for themselves.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to find what's the passion of that person. That's how you reach your goals. So if say Steven say, my goal is to save up X amount of money to buy a car, right? Like that's me personally, I would think that's stupid because if you chase a skill set, then you could buy multiple cars.
So you informed me that you transitioned from Houston to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
First, tell me how Houston was, and then transition to Milwaukee.
To be honest with you, in college, I had a few college teammates that was from Houston. You know, you play football, and you know, when you all get together, it's like Florida, Georgia, Texas, and, you know, talking trash back and forth. And one of my friends used to talk about Houston all the time, and I never been there, and I regret not going before. Like, when you go to Houston, man, it's actually amazing. I've never been in an environment where it's like so many black-owned businesses, no matter where you go, from a gas station, from like a grocery store, restaurants, and things of that nature. It's a whole different environment, to be honest. So like that transition in Houston felt like home, you know, like moving there and like the culture, the people, the environment, it felt like home. So like that transition from like being in that kind of environment was like shocking to me, man, to see so many African American people like really like get along in so many different categories. Like they collab with clothes, they collab with restaurants, they collab with like hookah lounges and things of that nature where they like rehash each other and things of that nature. But it was amazing living in Houston, to be honest with you, man.
Nice, because you were born and raised in Haiti. Yeah. School in West Virginia.
So I was I was born in Miami. Okay. I'm the last child that was born in Haiti. So it's 9 of us. All 8 before me was born in Haiti, and I was the last one born in Miami. And I was raised in Miami. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee my senior year. I lived there for 1 year. And then I went to Huntington, West Virginia. And to be honest, Huntington, West Virginia prepared me for living anywhere, to be honest with you. If you can live in West Virginia for 4 years, you can live anywhere, to be honest with you. And then going to these different transitions was way more easier, to be honest with you.
Okay, got you. Yeah, because I remember that you had told me that you went to school in West Virginia. So tell me about how that experience was, because you stated that you like to be cultivated around people of color and stuff like that. So how was that experience?
Ooh, when I say a culture change, that was a culture. Like being in Miami, right? If you think about Miami is like Hispanic, like international people, like Jamaican, Haitians, Bahamians, and Latinos. So when you live in Miami, it's like a whole different. You cut Miami off, that's another country. You know, so going from Miami and like really never like interact with like Caucasian people and things of that nature is like going in that environment is just like total opposite. Like, you know, it sounds weird, but it's like they're more, how can I say, it's like with us, it's more like protective, you know, like coming from our environment, like it's a protective environment. You never know when somebody trying to get over on you or whatever the case may be. And then when you go to Huntington, West Virginia, it's just like, they just so like open, you know what I mean? It's like no care in the world. It's like, let's just do it. Like those type of environment, just being around that environment of like the type of music they listen to, the way they dress. They don't really care about the things we care about, you know? Like they don't worry about like wearing designer shoes or like upscale clothes. Like they'll go to Target and some jeans and walk around. So it's like the style keeping, the just mentality wise, just the whole culture was totally different. More outdoors. I'm used to like our fun in Miami is like clubbing and things of that nature. Their fun is like going hunting and jumping off the cliff and things of that nature. So, you know, that was a great experience, by the way, me jump off a cliff. But like just in that environment, it's just like so outdoor versus city. Right. So it was like a big culture change. But like I mentioned, 4 years in West Virginia, I had a lot of fun, a lot of experience and things of that nature. Like it definitely humbled me. I can't say that. It humbled me a lot, man.
I get that. So like did like the change in like are seeing different cultures and experiencing some of the different cultures. You stated that you're actually a CEO of a company now. So before you even like got into that, did the different areas of culture kind of help?
100%. You know, if I can be honest with you, like growing up in Miami, everything's hustling. Right. You know, that's business, but just in the wrong way. But like when I moved to West Virginia and like meet some of the alumni and like listen to regular students and what their parents do and things of that nature. Oh, it definitely, I think that probably been like the kickstart of my mentality to business, because originally when I went to school, my major was accounting and finance. But then after just spending time with a lot of people and things of that nature, that's why I switched my degree to marketing and management and minors in entrepreneurship and communications, because I always knew I wanted to run a business. But being around that environment, it just showed you there's different ways to do things, you know. And biggest thing I learned from there, I remember one time on the off season, we get free jobs. You know, now the rules change, right? So we could talk now, right? So basically, they gave us a free job where we'll just punch in, get extra money. That was a way of giving money on the table. And I had a job at a meat marketplace with Mr. Logan. So like in Huntington, West Virginia, there's no Walmarts. It's like one Walmart. So there's no major retailer. So he was the main meat provider. And I remember talking to him one day, and he used to drive this 1988 little Honda, you know, and I'm like, how you say you're getting all this money? And you know, and I remember he did a cookout for the whole football team at his house. And when we went to his house, it took us about legit 3 minutes from his door, like the gate, to his house. And then when we pulled up, I saw Benz, Range Rovers, and all these things. And I asked him, I was like, why you don't drive these to work? You know what he told me? It's only work. And when he told me that, and I asked him, he was like, if you worry about too much what people are thinking about, then you're losing out on a lot of money. And when he told me that, I was like, man, and I'm not gonna lie, and from that moment, that's when I knew what networking was. You know, from that moment, in the beginning, I didn't see as a window of opportunity to pick his brain. I just saw free money, punching in, punching out, summertime. But when he said that to me and I started asking more questions, that's where I just started going around campus with more alumni and things of that nature and start asking them questions. And that's what transitioned me into business, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, honestly, man, I definitely agree with that, man. It's not always about what you know, but
it's who you know.
It's serious, man. I remember myself being, you know, attached to some of the upperclassmen as well as some of the alumni as well. The connections there, man, it's definitely goes a long way. And so I wanted to talk about where your start was when it came to marketing. I know that you were a D1 athlete at Marshall, playing football, and so once you transitioned from there, what was like your story, your build up to where you're at now?
Once again, man, that's why they say, you know, your past is everything. You shouldn't want to change your past, because the mentality that you have now is built from the experiences that you had in the past. So growing up in the streets of Miami is like, that's marketing all day, just the wrong way, illegal. You know what I mean? So like when you're in the streets hustling and things of that nature, I'm not even gonna lie, that's never left me. You know, but when I went to Huntington, West Virginia, another story. I remember, man, I was on campus and my D-line coach, his name is Thalin Smith. He's from New Orleans. And I remember he took me in the middle of campus, right? And he said, Mike, look around. He said, how many thugs do you see? And I was like, I don't see none. He said, I see one. I said, who? He said, you. He said, yeah. And when he told me, he was like, you bringing that Miami environment to a place where if you look around, these kids got book bags on, man. If you look around, they going to class. Yeah. And when he said that to me, man, it really changed my whole perception of like viewing things, to be honest with you. So marketing, I looked at it from a standpoint like from nonprofit to a regular business to church to like whatever you want to look at it, marketing is going to be the key to everything. And if you realize what happened with COVID, COVID just showed you that, you know, the government don't care about nobody but who? Business owners, right? Majority of the money that went to the business owner versus the stimulus check that gave out to people, because, you know, businesses continue to reproduce for the United States, because not only that with the PP loan, we had to pay people and they was taking the tax. So basically double dipping. They taking the taxes from our payroll, but then they also taking the taxes out of those people's checks as well to accumulate a revenue back. So I always knew marketing was going to be something big, because no business ran without sales. You know, like everybody's going to need a sales force no matter what, from the hospital to law to like however you want to look at it. So that's what the transition, like that I like say I wanted to get into sales. It wasn't that. I just knew I was going to run a business. But then where the opportunity came across where I had to learn the sales before I was able to open my business. That's why I took it and ran with it. But like initially, I wasn't looking at marketing as a sales aspect. I was looking more like social media, website, things of that nature. But when I came across this opportunity where I'm working at now, it showed me the importance of like why sales is very important.
Okay. That's what's up. Tell me about, I guess, a little bit more about your business and what that looks like and kind of what's your product or your audience.
Man, explaining what we do is a little bit different. It's really difficult to like really explain it unless you're actually going through that process. But if you want me to like sum it down, it's billion-dollar company just being lazy, if you want to be honest with you. Like, so basically, when you look at billion-dollar companies, right, when it comes to marketing, there's two forms of marketing. You have the indirect marketing and you have direct marketing. And most people lean towards more of indirect marketing because it's more behind the scene. You know, it's like social media, web, billboards, radio ads, commercials. Like, that's more of the indirect marketing. But direct marketing will never go away because that human touch, that face-to-face connection and communicate with people. So when you look at our clients that we work with, like Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, things of that nature, they just want to make more money with less costs attached to it. So meaning we do events, right? So I do all the events for them. So I put people inside of retail stores. I'll put people inside, like, if, say for example, Milwaukee, someone will be at the Bucks game, the Green Bay Packers game, and we'll set up tents and things of that nature. The reason why we exist is because the clients don't want to pay those people hourly to stand at those stands. And when you're paying somebody hourly, how hard are you really going to push to sell something?
Right.
Because they already know they're getting what paid regardless. So where we come in at, where we have a relationship, whereas like we will do the sales, but as long as you allow us to grow with you. Meaning when you work with a billion-dollar company like Comcast, it's not only in Brunswick. Comcast is in all in Maryland, all in DC, all in Florida, and things of that nature. So it's like we have our program that tie into it. So we'll learn the sales, we'll produce the sales, and if we get big enough, we need you to allow us to expand to this market and that market. That market is what allow us the opportunity to grow, because those billion-dollar clients want to make as much possible with low cost, like not paying hourly, not paying benefits and 401ks and things of that nature, because we're independent contractors. So they'll get paid through us. So that's just, it's like school system, right? Instead of having an extra teacher, they'll do a substitute teacher. They have the substitute teacher, so they don't pay them no benefits and things of that nature. $200. Like the postal service is temp agency. Right. Military is the reserve. Like you get some of it, but you don't get the full package like everybody else. So I tell people all the time, man, like my motto, I'll never be a part of somebody's system, but I will learn your system and use it with you.
Right, it's smart, man. Be a chameleon within the system. So, what are some of the attributes that you've learned along the way to become the person you are, and also to that level?
That's a great question.
How old are you right now?
34.
34, and you're now you're a senior director, or you're?
No, I'm a director, CEO.
Yeah, exactly, CEO. So, how, as a person at that age, to be able to move up that fast in a company, so like you're able to initially you started with a certain subcontractor company, right, and then you're able to create your own
team,
right? So how were you able to do that so fast?
Man, you see, like I'm a type of person, man, like if I'm going to do something, I'm gonna do it just to see how real it is. You know, like a lot of people catfish people because people won't go the extra mile. Right. So I'm the type of person, if you tell me I give you $1,000 to do a backflip, right? The only way I'm gonna know you're gonna give me that $1,000 is by me doing what?
A backflip.
I'm that type of person. So whenever somebody put an opportunity in front of me, I want to do it as fast as possible to see like where you at with it, you know? Because a lot of people will play with you like a string, and then they'll use you as a puppet to move you around. I just never been that type of person. Right. I'm a forcing hand. I'm not going to give you the time to like read me and see how you can use me. Once you give me a task, I'm just jump on it. But far as like how did I move fast, the biggest thing I can say is patience, man. One thing I realized, when you're dealing with a lot of people, patience is gonna be the key, man. Because like people, so many emotions, so many personalities, so many attitudes. Is if you add emotions on emotions, it's gonna drive you crazy. Right. You know, so the reason I was able to move really fast is just like being patient, understand what will make that person move, what will make that person go really hard. And nowadays it's so stupid, man. Some people work hard for a burger. but they won't work hard for themselves.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to find what's the passion of that person. That's how you reach your goals. So if say Steven say my goal is to save up X amount of money to buy a car, right? Like that's me personally, I would think that's stupid because if you chase a skill set, then you could buy multiple cars. But you're chasing something just to buy a car. So me mentally, I'm like, okay, if I teach you the skills to just buy you your car, that same skills that you're using to buy your car, I'm going to get benefit off it regardless because you're going to be working hard. But as the CEO on top of that, I'm going to make the extra commission on top of it. While you're chasing the car, you're building my business. That makes sense? It's like when you buy a house, right? And a person who don't have the best credit, right? You could buy a house right now and then you rent it to that person, right? In reality, that person paying off your house. So while they paying on a yearly basis over and over and over again, they just helping you pay off your house. Like one of my houses in Nashville right now, me and my sister bought that, 15 years ago, and neither one of us stayed in it. 15 years of that house is already paid for, not even from our pockets.
Dude, that's smart.
Yeah,
that's
so
smart.
That's why I say the biggest thing is you have to learn how to be patient, man. To get from point A to point B is going to be all about patience. And that's what helped me get to that next level because people don't know how to think for themselves. So when you're able to help them go from point A to point B, but it's going to take patience. But once you help that person do that, they look at you and they be like, wow. And now they move however you want them to move.
That's smart. Okay. Great. Is that... We can have for a second. Yeah.
Okay, so I would probably say like one more big question because I know you gotta hit that road.
Now, what time is it?
We got 6:05.
Are we good?
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to swap seats?
Nope. Be rolling, man. Hey, look, I'm getting a whole bunch of behind the scenes with this phone. I think Mike might have to go ahead and start posting this stuff.
Yeah, man.
I got some good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's on my phone. So, everything is very good. So, like, if you got like 1 or 2 more questions.
Yeah. We
Then that'll
can
be
go on,
that's
man.
good. Dropping some.
Yeah, it's not
Gym City.
.com. It's gonna look
man.
some good B-rolls, man. All right, so on to you.
I was making sure you were on time.
No, we're good.
All right.
We bringing you back, so.
Yeah, we're not live, so it's a little.
Yeah, this is just. We gonna put this. I think we gonna work on like YouTube, and then we're gonna cut it short clips on like social and stuff.
That's cool.
All right. Good to go.
Yeah, you good.
So, as a CEO of your company, what is at least one thing that you didn't expect to happen? Maybe like you get a setback or something out of the ordinary as far as somebody that's looking to become a CEO or starting their company.
You said, question is, what was a setback for me?
Setback or something that you didn't expect.
Man, to be honest with you, like, the biggest thing is, like, I never expected to be at the round table with, like, real vice presidents of these big companies. Like, going into it as a CEO, like, we could go open up a laundromat tomorrow and we'd be a CEO tomorrow if we wanted to.
Right.
But me personally, like, once I became that CEO to run my office, the biggest thing for me was, like, really sitting down at a table and I'm talking to, like, vice president of Comcast, vice president of AT&T, vice president of Charter, where I never expect that. You know what I mean? Me personally, it was football.
Right.
Playing football. I apologize.
Okay. Hey, it happens, man. We in here.
No, we live, bro.
Yeah, we good.
Right, so it's like football. I knew I wanted to run business.
Right.
When we say running businesses, where I'm from, it's like your typical, your beauty salon, a restaurant, a real estate. Like those, the things that people tend to go after. So, did I see myself like being able to run a business to this nature, a CEO, and sitting down with the vice president? I would tell you absolutely not. I could tell you this much: the first time I sat down with them, it was very nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. And it was actually really bad because I was no longer a CEO at the table. I was more of an employee. I was so nervous to like talk back to them. I was so nervous to push back. I was more of like, they was telling me and I'm writing it down. And this is when I was talking to my business partner and he said, Mike, remember, you don't work for them. Remember that you have to like push them, because if you don't push them, then they will use you. And when he told me that, I realized it, because when I spoke to them the first time, like with those companies, they have budgets, you know, like they have budgets that they want to hit every quarterly. And they gave me a super high budget that I was so excited just to say yes, because it was like Comcast, you know?
Right.
And my business partner said, you know, you lost like $25,000 right there. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, the amount of like, budget they want you to go get, like that come with a price tag. You have to pay for more recruitment, all these things. And to be honest with you, when I hit that budget, I actually doubled the budget that they want, and they got so excited. Then I realized what he meant, because whenever you get like a CEO, that type of big company, super excited, they have budgets, you know, like they're not your typical business, meaning like you own a business, I have a business, right? We're going from like what we make and we're going back and forth. Companies like that, beginning of the year, they say, hey, we want to spend $2 million this quarter on X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like the budget that they gave me, I could have pushed the issue, but I was so nervous because I never expected to be at a table where a Fortune 100 vice president would be looking me in my eye and asking me questions like, what can I do? How can I do this for them? Like I was still shell shocked, because it was like, how do a kid from the projects who sound like Kodak Black, you know? And I tell people that all the time, man. Actually, you know, I'm serious, man. Like when I first went to college, if y'all see how Lamar Jackson talk, that's how we talk down South Florida. That's like literally our language, you know. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, how do a kid from Little Haiti Project, North Miami, go from that environment to be sitting at a table looking at a vice president's eyes, and he's really looking at me with answers and hope. And that's what probably was the biggest motivation, was to prove people wrong. You know, I'm a big person. I'm a type of person, man, you tell me I can't do something, man, I feel like you're testing me, I'm going to prove you wrong. Right. And to be honest with you, just that moment of sitting there, that was probably like my biggest setback, to be honest with you, because I devalue myself because of the power of the next person, not coming into a situation knowing what I bring to the table.
That's good, man. That's good. I actually want to sit there for a second. So when you transition from an employee to venturing out to becoming a CEO of your own team, what are some things you had to like let go of, and also some things you had to like add? Image.
Because think about it, right? As an employee, me, you, we're employees, right? So say we in a business workforce, like obviously it's gonna be me and you against the system. Right? Because obviously we're employees of the system. So if something go wrong your way, you're gonna say something to me, we're gonna be talking about it, and it's back and forth. But when you go to a CEO role, it flipped. It's the same way how somebody go from just say we use Walmart, go for a cashier to department manager, right? Don't forget, those people that you was cashiers with was your friends. Now you're a department manager, so now you gotta tell them what to do. You have to do their schedule. You have to discipline them. It's a different, exactly. So when you go from the mindset from like being an employee to a CEO, you are the system. That's the biggest thing. You are the system. And if you're not the example of the system, why people follow?
Exactly.
Right? And that's the biggest thing. Like your image is everything. You mess your image up one time, you put your business on jeopardy. You know? Because you're the foundation. So going from an employee mindset of like, when you're like me as a CEO, there ain't no sick days. You know? There's no off days. There's no, hey, Christmas break. Like I have to pay those people. So my mindset is like I have to like deliver every single day. You know, I'm the last line and everything. So it's like having that mentality change, more of like when we say leaders and followers, that's the definition of being a leader. If you don't lead that business in the right direction, it could fold any given day. So if you look at like if you look it up, Elon Musk said this one time. If you look at it, when Bezos went in the situation with the divorce, and then Elon Musk passed him, they asked Elon Musk, like, what was the biggest change that you did to increase your revenue? And he said it was very simple. All I did was show up to my stores. So think about it, right? Say you're a regular employee at a Tesla store and you see Elon Musk just walk up.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you could tell his presence is going to uplift the energy. His presence, he's going. Everybody in that store going to be like, Elon Musk. And obviously, this is going to work hard. He said all he did was go to his retail stores, go to his warehouse, just pop up places. People got so excited having the opportunity to see the CEO of Tesla walking around.
So yeah, keeps people on their toes.
Exactly.
Too. You don't know
when you're going to pop up, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I said image is everything. And when you have that great image around you, man, it make it way more easier to grow your business. But that's a hard change, to be honest with you, man. Going from an employee mindset to like an entrepreneur, like a CEO, it's like gambling, man. It's really gambling, man. Like if it go good, it's really good. And if it go bad, it's really, really bad. And if it go really bad, the only person who can uplift it is you. Right. And that's why, like, having a great attitude, like creating that great energy on a consistent basis, because when things going good, you just work harder. When things go bad, you need to be more excited. But people flip it around. Like when things go bad, people get emotional, they get sad.
That's
they
a
get,
good point.
Yeah, when you get frustrated, then you're really not going to do nothing for your business. It's going to be hard to get out that situation. So people need to understand, like when things going good, it's easy to have a great attitude when things going good, but your great attitude is needed when things is going bad. That's what allows you to think more clear, not emotional. And when you're thinking clear, you could really think about the things that you could actually do to fix your situation versus the emotions that kick in and like hold you back. It's like make you feel sorry for yourself or procrastinate, like next month is going to be the month or whatever the case may be. But it's tough. I'm not going to lie, it's tough. You just got to work on that mentality switch.
Yeah, because that's a good point, because when you're like an employee in the workforce, you have a safety net.
Safety net. You got a system.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you were to, have a rough quarter, right? You just, okay, I'll still have this 9 to 5, I still have money coming in. But like when you're a CEO, you don't really have that safety net there. But your mindset has to flip.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
And that's why the money flip. But when you look at CEOs, the ones that do it proper, do they live the same lifestyle everybody else? They have a special lifestyle because that revenue, man, is crazy, man. Like I tell people all the time, if it's anything easy to do, it's going to be a hard lifestyle. And if it's anything hard to do, it's going to be an easy lifestyle because you already went through those obstacles, So as a CEO, like when you're an employee, you have an HR, right? And you're protected, you can't say this or this. You're really, really protected. So for me to be a manager for somebody company, it's easier because we have so many rules lined up to say, that protect you. I'm a manager, you're the employee, I come up and discipline you or whatever case may be. You don't fear me, you fear the system. Right. So it's easy for somebody to be a manager. But really think about it, right? What is different from what a manager do and a CEO do in that same building? If you look at the manager of Walmart, like the manager, the GM of Walmart, what is that different that he do from the CEO?
Not much.
It's nothing. But that's a safety net that the GM have. Because if that GM say took a leap of faith and went to go open up his own retail store, tell me what he couldn't do. That's the protection. That's the CEO say I'm gonna give you $60,000 a year. To you it's like, oh my gosh, that's the safety net that they're looking for. But not knowing the same skills that they're doing, the payroll, the hiring, the managing employees, the managing inventory, managing security, everything that they're doing, they technically is the CEO of that business. Yeah. But safety net.
They're doing work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a good point, man. Let me start back over real fast. Cool. All right.
Ready? Yes, sir.
So, like, what are some tools as far as for somebody that's looking to transition? Like, either some books or some podcasts or anything like that. Even just some workshops, something like that could help invest in that person becoming their own CEO, their own owner of a company.
I think it's more about, the angle of CEO is like, I think you should switch the angle to more of like, what is that person passionate about? Okay, So like, say for example, if beauty is doing hair, Say, for example, a barber is your specialty. You really know how to cut really, really good. You know, people are afraid to go out there and brand themselves. So, like, for example, they'll go work at a barber shop because they already know the flow of traffic is already there, things of that nature. People don't want to invest in themselves. And that's the biggest problem because, like, if you was a barber and I'm a barber, why we can't save our own money, go buy our own equipment, have our own store, we pay our own, and obviously the profits be more. But people will settle, you know. People, I don't think people know what money is, to be honest with you, man.
Why you say that?
Because sometimes people could see $60,000 and they live like in a 1-bedroom apartment. You live very comfortable. It could fool you to make you feel like you have money, but reality, exactly, you really don't have no money.
Yeah.
So people, Steve Harvey say this, man. Steve Harvey is to give you exact. You say like, what's some of the things that can help you? Listen to successful people, man. There's a lot of successful people that have like the podcast and like Steve Harvey, Icky Johnson, even Deion Sanders nowadays, right? Yeah. But Steve Harvey said this. He said, man, one day, just buy a first-class ticket. He said, just buy a first-class ticket. No matter how much money you have, save up, buy a first-class ticket. You know why? Because when you sit in that front, in that first class, and people walking by you looking at you a particular way, they give you a hot meal. They don't give you a napkin. They give you a wet towel. They greet you. Once you get that feeling, you're going to want it. Now, your level of work ethic is going to match that feeling, not a job. You know what I mean? It's like buying a foreign for the first time. If I can be honest with you, I can't drive no other car outside of foreign. You know, like that initial feeling that it give you the first time you drive it, the recognition, the energy, the love people give you, you're gonna chase the feeling. And there you go. Yeah. See, and that's what makes successful people successful. Because once you taste it, you're not chasing a job. Yep. You're not chasing money. You're chasing the feeling. And chasing the feeling is totally different. Going to any steakhouse you want or travel wherever you want, that feeling is where the hustle coming at. So when people want to chase CEO, I'm like, don't chase CEO, because CEO could be anything. You know, CEO could be a lemonade stand outside if you wanted to. Chase a feeling, chase a passion, whatever you're passionate about, and support yourself. Like me personally, my passion was just business, you know? I never knew what type of business, but I already knew one thing I would never do. I told myself I'll never work for somebody. I just can't. Yeah. You know, because I feel like I work really hard, to be honest with you. And I feel like I bring a lot, and I don't never want to be capped. When you work for somebody, your potential always going to be capped. Number one, they would never want you to outgrow them, because that means you have stocks in their business. Why would they want you to have stocks in their business? Like, you look at Microsoft and all these people who became $1 billion in the Microsoft, is because they just dominated so much where they had to become partners. Now they hold different shares and things of that nature. You'll always get capped. But I'll tell people all the time, learn the skill set. We work every day. Everybody works somewhere. If you work in the school system, if you really truly wanted to, you go independent if you wanted to. You can open up your own school if you wanted to. Yeah. If you work in somebody's barbershop, you go independent. You can open up your own barbershop. If you work in a grocery store, you can go independent as well. You open up your own grocery store as well. And at the end of the day, it's a passion. Chase a passion. Once you have a passion beyond things, be a best student. Once you become the best student is more about applying versus taking notes. And the more you apply is the more you learn. And change your circle. You know, like, go back to the previous question you asked me. Some of the things that changed was my circle. Like, if I was in Miami, it was all my homies on the block. We would shoot dice and things. That was like my circle. But when I went to Huntington, West Virginia, you know, I love my homies, I love my bros. But then, like, on a day-to-day basis, it changed. It was like the people in West Virginia, it's totally different from the people in Miami. And then when I started playing professional football, then I got around those circle of people. And then when I got into business, and my circle of people just changed. And they say it all the time, show me the 6 people that you talk to, and I can tell you who you are. Yep. So somebody who want to be a CEO, man, you just got to learn how to be the best student, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. Never be like the smartest person in the room.
That if you're the smartest, man, I'm happy you said that, man. Because, man, every business partner I work with, man, they say this all the time. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that means you're not learning no more. You know, you're passing all your information for people to get to you. But that's why it's so hard for, like, people to get those type of people as mentors, because the things that they're going to tell you to do, they're doing. So they're going to say you need to get around more people, but it's hard to get to them because they're around more people. Like Kevin Hart.
Yep.
That's another one, right? Because I'm big on these stuff, man. I remember there's a video with Kevin Hart, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. And you know, all of them are cool with Robert Kraft. And so they were having the banquet party. And they was at the banquet party, and Jeff Bezos walked in, right? And Kevin Hart looked, and it was him and his friends at the table. And his friends, he was like, man, that's Bezos. He's out to go talk to him. And his friend was like, man, you're going to look like a groupie. and Kevin Hart said, why did I bring you here? He was like, you idiot. When the next time we're going to ever get the opportunity to ever speak to the richest person in the world? He was like, I should not be your friend no more. Right? And it's the truth. Because when the next time, Kevin Hart is very successful. Like, when is the next time is he going to be in a room with the richest person in the world? That you seize those moment of opportunity, man.
100%.
And that's why networking is very big, man.
Yeah. Networking, man. That's a good point, man. And I know that we're running a little late here, but did you...
Bro,
you just can do.
Bro, next time you coming back, boy, you doing a whole.
Yeah, because this works, man.
No.
Do you want to do a closing tonight, or do we do it?
We don't have to do a closing tonight.
Okay.
Like, as far as how we end it.
Yeah.
But Mike, bro,
yeah.
you naturally.
Yeah.
Bro,
you should be in the camera naturally, bro.
Yeah, bro. This you, bro.
Nah, man. You know,
but they just can't
have the voice for the podcast.
It came naturally.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you just open your mouth, bro.
when you play, man, interviews all day, bro.
Yeah. So y'all can keep talking, and I'm going, like, as y'all talking, I'm about to do like 30 to 45 seconds of y'all just talking. I'm gonna get short clips.
Okay.
Like just we call it. It's called B-roll. It's just like, so when we drop the podcast on YouTube, it's just little extra things to make it look nice.